Nikki Haley joins us now, Republican presidential candidate. Thanks for being patient with us. We just wanted to get the message there from Chuck Schumer. Good morning and welcome back here.
Morning.
Got a number of things to get through, but just a quick comment on this. We talked to Sabrina Singh from the Pentagon last hour. We asked her, is the full-fledged, full-throated support of President Biden still intact with regard to Israel going after Hamas? And she said, yes, nothing has changed. Do you see it the same way?
You know, it's interesting, and I appreciate the senator's speech. I think it's important for people to hear about it. But let's look at a few things about what's happening with anti-Semitism and then get into what's happening with Israel. First of all, let's stop talking about the dangers of anti-Semitism and do something about it. You have foreign money going into universities right now from Arab countries and Chinese countries. Don't be surprised that we have pro-Hamas protests on our campuses when that foreign money is going in there. Let's get the foreign money out of our universities. The second thing is, look at all of the foreign bots on social media spreading disinformation, spreading pro-Hamas messaging, spreading anti-Semitism. There's a reason India banned TikTok. There's a reason Nepal banned TikTok. It's because it was causing social disruption. Our social media companies need to get rid of foreign bots that are on social media and show us the algorithm so that we can get all of that out. And then thirdly, let's go to our president. When you talk about what the press secretary said about Israel, the president is the one that refused to put anti-Zionism into the definition of anti-Semitism. Anybody that thinks Israel doesn't have the right to exist, that is just as bad as if the KKK was out here spewing hate. That hate is exactly the same as anti-Semitism. He needs to fix the definition and hold everybody to that standard. But more than that, Biden has gone and said he supports Israel. You don't put conditions on your friends. He should be putting conditions on Hamas. He's treating Hamas and Israel the same. Let Israel do what they need to do. They want to save those hostages as much as anyone.
No doubt.
And all Biden has done from the beginning of this is put conditions on Israel.
Oh. Okay, on that, 47 days to Iowa. Ron DeSantis is coming after you. He's going to pull the full Grassley on Saturday. He says your establishment with your positions, you're fundamentally out of step with the Republican voters. What do you think of that?
I think that's what a candidate says when they're losing. You know, I mean, I think you look, there's nothing establishment about a candidate who was the Tea Party candidate who ran for governor. There's nothing establishment when you have Americans for Prosperity, the most conservative grassroots organization in the country, come out and endorse me because they like my economic plans and my plans for the future of America. You know, I think he's saying what he has to say because he's grasping at this point, but we're staying focused. Our goal is to win the support of every Iowan, every Granite Stater, every South Carolinian, and every American. We're going to keep on working harder than everybody else and keep working smarter than everybody else because we have a country to save.
There's more on that.
So you have a couple of other competitors, right? And so Donald Trump is one of them. And his spokesperson said this, that Americans for Prosperity has already lit millions of dollars on fire this primary, only to watch President Donald Trump's lead grow. No amount of money can break the bond President Trump has with voters. He kept his promises. And Chris Christie said about you that she should either run against Trump or don't run against Trump. If you're running for second place, tell everyone you're running for second place. I know that you're not running for second place. That's what you say. How do you respond to two of these competitors who think that you are not the one to take on Trump mano a mano?
I don't play for second. I never have. I'm not going to do it now. You know, we are now in second place in Iowa, second place in New Hampshire, and second place in South Carolina. We've got one more fella to catch up to, and the momentum is growing. We can feel it on the ground here in New Hampshire. We can feel it in Iowa, and we're going to keep working. I think, look, President Trump would have loved to have AFP's endorsement. Everybody wants the largest conservative grassroots organization in America. That's millions of people on the ground in all of the early states that want to see a change in our country. And so I think President Trump would have loved to have that endorsement. I think with Chris Christie saying that, I am running against President Trump. I'm waiting for him to get on a debate stage. He can't keep hiding the way he's hiding. He can't start acting like President Biden. He needs to get on the debate stage. He needs to confront us. He needs to let us, talk about the differences and go forward. But the truth is, you you have to face facts. I think President Trump was the right president at the right time. I agree with a lot of his policies. But the truth of everything is, rightly or wrongly, chaos follows him. Chaos follows him. Everybody knows that. And with our country divided and the world on fire, we
Governor,
can't live in chaos anymore.
Like that. It does seem that enough Republicans like that. If he's 40 points ahead in some of these polls, then maybe the chaos was okay for those voters, at least for in the primary.
On the ground, nobody wants the chaos. And I'll tell you, I think everybody looks at national polls. You need to look at the polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. They're the ones that are getting ready for an election. They go to vote in less than 50 days. They don't want chaos. They want action. And they look at the fact that we've got to get this country back on track, and they're ready to see a new generational leader do that. And I'm going to do that for them.
Wish we had more time, so coming back soon, okay?
Yes.
We're out of time for now, but thank you again,
Thank
Nikki
you.
Haley, for being here.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.